What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Into My GT Entertainment, and I am Joel. Nice to see you here on New Year's Day. I hope y'all had a great holiday. Now, nothing to look forward to for a little while, so time to get the grind on, right? So today, I'm just gonna have a discussion. Let y'all know where I'm at with my vehicles right now. Gonna move Pam's car out the way, get Wasp out. We had a little shindig yesterday, so the cars are kind of all over the place. So enjoy the intro, and we'll see you in a second. All right, everybody, so the point of this video today is just to kind of start our 2026 guideline for what I have planned for the cars, any new arrivals, any deletions, anything of that nature. Like I said, it's a new year, time to do some new stuff, right? So starting off with Pam's Storm right here. Now, I don't know what the plans are for this at the moment. Like I said, we're not getting rid of it. This is her baby. She's finally driving it again. So, never know. Maybe boosted at one point. You know, wheel change is always an option, you know. Redoing the tint in it is definitely going to happen. It's been sitting outside in the actual panel from the door itself. Let me see if I can show you all that. It might be good at the moment, but the actual insert, which I've never seen this model do it, right now it's okay, but this right here, you can see it's loose, that just peels off. So I need to come back in, respray that, and then glue it back in and seam it back together. Not a big deal, but you know, the car is now, let's see, this car is 12 years old, so you know, not too bad for a 12-year-old car. Walking down here to the Dodge Ram, the 1500. I really like this truck. Again, it is filthy though. We've had some crazy weather. It hadn't really snowed a lot, but it's been super cold. It did snow once or twice. It did throw crap on. And then again, the driveway at work, the parking area is all gravel. So that's why I really don't take the other cars. But this thing, I love this thing to death. I wish I knew more of what I could do with it. I don't need it lifted. Like I said, I've done a lot to it. It's got an intake on it. The wheels, I've changed out the headlights on it. The fog lights are changed. So little accents, you know, have been done, and redid the running boards from the factory ones. So for the most part, this is pretty good, besides a wash that it needs, which every car that I own right now needs a wash, probably except for Nightwing. And like I said, I don't really know what to do. I did the bed liner in it, the tonneau cover. So this is just fun to drive. And what is that? Oh Lord, look at that, guys. Just saw that. Guess I'll be getting that fixed at some point, huh guys? Wow. Well, that kind of sucks, guys. That's a big Allen wrench in there, and it is leaking. So I'm gonna have to get that fixed here probably tomorrow. At least I work from home tomorrow, so maybe I can scoop out, take it up to the shop, and get it plugged. So yeah, that's never a good thing, right? So, but on with the video. Now, good old Jeep wagon. Again, we haven't done much with it. I'm kind of waiting for these tires to wear out, and then we're gonna go ahead and possibly switch up and do some new wheels and tires with this. Of course, you got to buy 5 of them, right? Because you got the spare in the rear. It needs a wash. as always. All her cars always need washes, but you know, it goes with the garage issue. You know, we don't have a lot of storage. We have a lot of cars, but not a lot of storage, right? So something's gonna have to be dirty at some point. But with this, she just enjoys it the way it is. Like I said, she will do the wheels and tires at some point. I like to maybe get the little puddle lights that go up here, you know, that kind of have the little puddle lights there. But for the most part, other than a wash, you know, it doesn't really need too much. It does what she needs to do. Maybe this year we'll go take it out to Outer Banks and go on the beach and maybe do some beach driving and take the doors off and do some Jeep things, right? So maybe, and she doesn't want to lift on it, so it is good the way it is. Then we got good old Cindy's car. It looks clean. I ran it through the wash, but it is not clean at all compared to how it usually is. Well, it's usually dirty because she doesn't really do much with this. But fresh oil change this, had it for 2 years. Just did an oil change, first oil change in it, because she really doesn't drive too much. So no plans for this at all. Put a little sticker that she got for Christmas on here, right there at the top. She likes her moon cycle. She wants to get that as a tattoo. And then put the auto start stop off on here, so we don't have to worry about that stuff going at every light. Good old Nightwing. Nightwing is looking wonderful. As you can see, the cleanest car of the bunch, right? It's been sitting in the garage for a couple weeks. I took it out. It's been sunny, so now it's out and about, and we'll go have some more fun with this again. And like I said, with summer coming and spring, we'll probably do a lot more with the SUV. I want to probably do some runs with it. I don't really have anything that I have to put on this car. The only thing that I haven't put on here that I want to put on here are downpipes. But other than that, the exhaust is done. The interior is fine. The wheel package and tires are good. Intercooler, the turbos are fine for right now. Like I said, it's 511 horsepower all day long. So, and that's on pump gas. It does have a E30 tune and it has an E50 tune. So I can bump it up a little more and we can have a little more fun with it. But for the most part, this car, this SUV, is exactly where I want it to be. Now, what can I say about Wasp? I am going to go ahead and get this detailed up here this weekend, possibly. But for the most part, it is dirty like everything else. The color hides it a little better, but I don't have really too many more plans for this right now. It is where I want it to be. It is supercharged now. It's got the catch can. It's got the fog lights on it. It's got the RTR lights on there. I'm actually going to turn the car on because I know I've discussed this before, but I've never really shown it. With the whole thing going on here, now the RTR lights are not bright because I got the fog lights. And what I did with that is there's a ground that you can take off that'll turn those into running lights. So let me go ahead and show you what they look like on. So with the lights on, as you can see that they are on, but they are dim. So it gives it kind of an accent lighting, but it does not take away from the fog lights or the regular driving lights now. So that way it has at least a little bit of show there, but it does not take away from the accent at all with the fog lights and whatnot. And something else I wanted to show you, when you put these in high beam, which they are now, the fog lights turn into an amber yellow, and that happens automatically. So that's kind of a nice little trick. Nice subtle front end now. And I know I've talked about having the lights over the exhaust. So the dynamic little signals right there, they just light up. They don't do anything crazy or flash or do whatever, but they do have a nice little accent at night. And then when it's dark, the light will catch the exhaust, so it looks like you have like a red flame accent going to it, which is kind of nice. And I got the GTD wheels from I think it's oh, I gotta still figure out the name for y'all. I want to say it's Modern Muscle is the people that I got it from, and you can check the website. They got a couple variations of the same wheel, different colors, so they look good on the car. I cannot stress enough how much I like this look right now. And the tires, again with the Firehawks, I'm not going to preach about them, but if you are in the market of having tires, I will look into the Firehawks. All right, guys, I had to pull it into the garage. It's getting dark and it's getting a little cold now. And last car that we have out here is good old Minion. And I don't really know what Brandon has in store for this. I know he wants to redo the roof wrap, maybe wheels and tires again. I don't know exactly what his intentions are with this car, but like I said, it's here. It runs good from what he says now, and it is loud as hell. I had both of the cars running yesterday together, and his drowns mine out for sure. All right, guys, so I am now in the garage, so the lights might be doing the weird stuff again, but now we're going to get into the discussion part. Showed you the vehicles, and I just want to get into what my plans are with what I got for the new year. So let me see if I can find a good spot to sit and we'll have a talk. So, okay, new year, new plans, new stuff to talk about, right? So let's talk about, first of all, off the car game, let's talk about where we may end up this year. There's talk about going Ponies and Smokies, so we'll have to see where we end up with that. Mustang Week. Now that is kind of a subject for some people right now, and right now I don't know if I'm going to go to Mustang Week in Charlotte. We still might end up going to Myrtle, just to go down there, if it's a Mustang thing or not. So we'll have to figure that out. I always take the Mustang in the SUV, so it could be a Ford show. Like I said, there's people in talks of having something down there, and I think it's going to be more of a Ford thing versus just a Mustang thing. So we'll have to play that out and see how it goes. Pam's been kind of reaching out to a few people and seeing what their plans are for the beach. So we'll see how that ends up for sure. All right, and to reiterate a little more with the Charlotte Mustang Week. Now, I don't go to Mustang Week for just the automotive stuff. Now, I know it is a Mustang event and whatever, and we do the Mustang stuff. We do the meets, we do the, the meet and greets, and we do all the stuff that they offer, right? But with the one in Charlotte, for me, it's not really down my pipe of stuff. They're going to be doing the track, and they're going to be doing autocross, and the autocross may be interesting if they get that squared away good, but then we go a lot, at least a lot of us go for the vacation aspect too. You're at the beach, right? So you can kind of split it on car events and family events, or just vacationing in general. If you don't have a family, you're down there with your buddies and whatever. So I don't see that really in Charlotte. And the thing is, you got beach houses, and you got hotels, and you got all the stuff that you have in Myrtle that is not in Charlotte. They just announced, this is the official hotel of Mustang Week, right? Yeah, but how is that going to fly? You're going to have 3,000 people in one hotel. Nobody's going to do that. You do have people that live around that area, that I've seen post, and you know, that's great for them because it's in their backyard and they can go home every night. You know, they don't have to deal with, you know, trying to rent a spot and whatever. So that's good for them. But for me to actually spend my money and go travel somewhere, if I'm going to spend $200 or $300 a night in a hotel or $100 a night, you know, I could get a beach house with a couple of friends and we'll have a better time for sure. So we'll have to play that by ear. You know, Mustang Week is kind of up in the air. I don't know exactly we're going to do it, or we might just ride down for, you know, a day or two and then come back up. So we'll have to figure it out. But let's get into these cars. So Nightwing, I did touch up a little bit on it. Like I said, this car, this SUV is definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, it's up there with the Mustang, and like I said, maybe it's because I'm older, but everything that you could do with this car is amazing to me. You know, it's fast, it's peppy, it's roomy. You know, you could go get groceries, you could take your friends, you could take it to the track, you could drive it to the track and drive it home. You know, you don't have to put it on a back of a freaking flatbed or a trailer or anything to get it to where you got to go. This one you can drive, go, and like I said, if you're using E, you have the E in it and drive it off right into the sunset with the E. So there's not much I want to do with this car right now. Like I said, I think it is exactly where I want to go with it. It is lowered, it's on 22s, it's got front and rear sway bars. Like I said, the exhaust is pretty much done with Borla exhaust. It's set for the downpipes, so the downpipes may or may not, depending what the gain is with that, right? Is it worth, you know, the $600 or $700 for the downpipe and then whatever it is to get somebody install it, you know, and then get the car retuned for it? So is it, in the nutshell, going to be worth it? Now, if I ever decide to upgrade the turbos or do the fuel system or do anything along that line, then, you know, I may consider doing the downpipes for this car. But for the most part, this is good. It's a good daily driver. It is good to go play around with, and you know, it'll turn heads, it'll surprise people. So it's well rounded, and like I said, ZFG is my tuner for this car, and like I said, I have no issues with it. The car has run great from day one. It's got 15,000 miles on it, maybe 16 now, so it's doing good. And Wasp, I can't be more happier than Wasp. Again, I think I like Nightwing a little better, but like I said, I like them for different reasons. Like I said, this is a well-rounded, all-around SUV, family vehicle, like I just explained. This is a well-rounded sports car. It is track-oriented. It could go in a straight line fast. It could do cornering. You know, it is what it is. And I added my little flavors to it. You know, just like I was saying with the RTR lights and whatever, I have them dimmed down. You know, a lot of people don't do it that way because I didn't want this to be so bold up here. I did the rear seat delete. If you could see in there from here, big old Wasp out there, my GT at the top, you know, because I didn't use the back seat. My kids are grown, nobody's gonna go back there. And to be honest, the back seats in these cars are kind of ridiculous. So, you know, you're not really fitting a human in there. You could probably put your dog or something like that that doesn't care about being in tight spots. But, you know, this is a good car. I mean, this car, again, surprises me every day I drive it, because I don't drive it that often, and every time I drive it, it's like driving a new car again every day. Now, people have told me about the lips and stuff, so I don't know. I'm still not sold on having a lip on this car. Like I said, the performance pack has the different lip than the normal, I guess the base. So you can see it does have the little flare out there and the flare out over here. So, and then it's about normal in the middle, which I like. I don't have a problem with that at all. Now, they do have the side skirts that I'm toying around thinking about. You know, maybe putting some side skirts on here. But for the actual car, no stripes on this one. Like I said, I think it's just packaged right for me. And another thing my son's been trying me to do is get the Euros for this car. I really don't want the Euros. Like I said, it's not that I have anything against them, but I think with the way that the color scheme is with this car, with the red, the black, like I said, you got the red dot on the 5.0. You know, you got little axes. Even my license plates, you know, have the red on there with the yellow and the blue. So it kind of rolls in together. You know, my end of my GT here at the top. You know, so everything has a flow to it. So, like I said, I don't like to mess with the flows of the cars too much. I'll find something that works for me, and then that's just kind of how I do it. But again, I was thinking about maybe doing the little flare skirts, maybe the RTR skirts on here. I don't know. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with that too much right now. Alright guys, well, I am back at the homestead. Well, I've always been at the homestead, but now I'm in my upstairs abode, hiding from everybody. About to probably edit this video on this PC right here. This is my other PC. If y'all like PCs and stuff, just to give y'all a little look around. This is my main computer. This one over here is what I do all my editing and stuff like that. If I go out of town or go to the beach or whatever the case, this one travels with me so I can still get into what I need to do. But for the most part, that is the video. Like I said, it was just a lot of just talking today. I really don't have any plans for any vehicles that are in stone. Like I said, there might be little things I want to do here and there, and as things come up, I've even thought about purchasing something new, but I don't have a want right now. There's nothing that I want to get. There's nothing that is out there that is like, ooh, I gotta have it. So, you know, when the time comes and I figure out what I want, I guess we'll go from there. I've even thought about maybe getting an Audi RS. What is it? RS? I think it's a 5 RS. I like the way that those are looking built, and like I said, I'm kind of getting out of the performance stuff. I like the way things look, even BMWs, but I know with stuff like that, they start breaking down and costing you a mint to get fixed and all that stuff. And like I said, I'm getting to the point where I just want to enjoy what I got, right? So there's a project I'm going to do outside in the spring with the concrete pad that I've talked about in other videos that lead into the other tool shed, so I could start parking the cars in there and feel more secure about what the ramp is doing. Because like I said, sometimes it bows down when you ride over it, and you know, eventually the boards are going to break, rot, do whatever, or have to be redone. And I don't want to put like a Trex board or anything because they're slippery, so that kind of defeats the purpose, and they get really hot during the summer. And you know, so we're probably going to do a little concrete ramp up in there, and that'll fix that. Still looking for the guys. Again, I found somebody to do some of that work, and it wasn't too bad of a price, so we'll see if springtime I still get that price. Again, I went over maybe the plans for the vacationing this year, ponies in the Smokies, stuff like that. The thing is, a lot of the guys that I go with want to do the Tail of the Dragon and this, that, the other. Again, I'm old. My reaction time is not what it used to be, and people on that mountain are freaking nuts sometimes. So, you know, you kind of got to go at your own pace. But the people that I usually, you know, travel with or whatever are a lot younger than me, and they have a whole different scenario that they're trying to keep up with. And like I said, it doesn't interest me. I like to go for the vacationing, to go to Pigeon Forge, you know, Gatlinburg, it's like going to Myrtle without the beach. You know, they have the mountains and they got a lot of stuff that keep you occupied, right? So that's why I like going that place. So I've been there once or twice, not for Ponies and Smokies, but I've been out there for that. So we'll see how that goes. That's a 3-month adventure here coming up. So, you know, I'll see where I am, see if we get a place, see if we can shack up for a couple days. I don't even know if I'll go for a whole week. So, and then the weather. Again, the weather has been kind of iffy this year so far. Usually you can plan on stuff and you know you're going to have decent weather. But I think Brandon went last year and it was 80 degrees or 70 degrees out there. You know, this year it might be freaking 2 feet of snow. So who knows? So we'll have to play that by ear for sure. Well, all right, guys. I am ending the video right here. I'm done rambling. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and figure out my next path. And with work now, that takes up a lot of my time. Like I said, I ain't trying to be a broken record with it because everybody works, right? So they have to kind of go through the same thing. But like I said, I got used to being unemployed, I guess, for 8 or 9 months, which I got a lot of stuff done and I could do stuff at my own pace and at my own time. But the paychecks weren't really coming in and, you know, things have to get paid, right? Got to keep these lights on, got to keep the toys coming, all that good stuff, you know, and just got to live, right? So as the day goes by, man, we'll do what we can, we'll add what we will, and, you know, we'll see what happens. And like I said, never know what vehicle's going to come, what vehicle's going to go, what's going to happen. Like I said, I have things that I want to still end up doing, and it's not really automotive, but it takes a big chunk of my life to do. A lot of planning, a lot of stuff, a lot of getting things in order to do them. So I've been talking with Pam about certain things for quite a while now, and you know, I kind of kid at them because I want to do a family compound. Brandon and Cindy still live here. I don't think they're ever going to move out, to be honest. Take it for what you will, okay? But, you know, with that being said, since they're going to be here, I'll help them build the family compound. They'll have their own little places on the actual land and stuff like that. Well, me and Pam will have the main house. We'll have like a shop in the back. Not necessarily shop, but, you know, something for cars and lifts and stuff that I could get stuff done and need to do. And then they'll have their little places on the land. So that way they are close to mom, but, you know, they're not, you know, at mom's house, right? So, but that's not here or there or another story. So we're going to end it right now. I hope y'all have a good start to your New Year's. As you can see, mine has a freaking Allen wrench in the tire. So now I got to get that fixed here tomorrow at some point. So I'll either have to pull it off the car and take it or try to go down the road and see if I can make it. So we'll see what happens. So I'll keep you tuned in for that. But until the next time, peace. See you on the next one.